All right, we are officially live in the group.
What's going on, guys? Good to see you here.
So, guys, I'm freaking stoked about this. I'm like trying not to be like a little 13-year-old girl at the Kesha concert. All right, but this is kind of cool, guys. If you don't know Austin Distel, by the way, that's what we have on here. If you can't see this little box in the corner, the guy's got a freaking crazy story. And before we dive into that, though, man, first of all, thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, glad to be here. I mean, this is really where my roots are. The agency world. Did this for 3 years. Now moved on to software, which of course we'll get into. But I want to keep drilling in and helping you guys grow your agency. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome, man. So right before that, by the way, do you guys see his background? So which office are you in right now?
So this is our office we just got here in Austin, Texas. We'll go into the story, but basically we just got a few million in funding, and we're growing a very large, fast-growing software company. And so let's see if I can go around the table.
Oh my God, that's sexy.
What's going on here?
Oh, that's sexy. Oh, are you guys seeing this?
It's something that we can grow into. And we're hiring pretty quickly, probably about one every 2 weeks. We have somebody starting in 2 days from now, and it's just been a great ride so far.
God, this is super cool, guys. We'll get into that story in a sec. By the way, if you're hopping on now, because we have a couple viewers, and I know everyone started hopping on here in a sec, but hashtag live, guys. This way that Facebook knows that this is an awesome interview and expands our reach a little bit. And if you're watching this, hashtag replay. If you guys can't already read the description, which you guys are awesome, so I know you already saw that.
If you comment below while we're live, I'll do my best to respond. So if you have questions, you want me to dig in a little bit deeper into our story or anything like that, I can definitely do that. So just go ahead, comment down below.
Awesome, man. Can you see the comments over there right now?
Yeah, I just see Eric right now. Hey, Eric, Josh, what's going on, man? Good to see you. I know there's probably going to be a 5 to 10 second delay here between our recording and it showing up right there.
Yeah, so that's perfect, man. Appreciate it. I want to make sure you can see all that right now. So right before we hop into that, I'm just curious, dude, because I see all of your lifestyle pictures and stuff. Like, how many places have you actually visited? Because I saw your picture with Ty Lopez and stuff, and how you guys were talking about going nomadic, or to be full-time nomad or part-time, or how that works with your lifestyle.
Yeah, it was interesting. That was a good eye-opening conversation with Ty, because here's really the battle that many entrepreneurs have is you see this amazing lifestyle, and it's like how girls want to be Kim Kardashian because they only see the couple snippets a week on the TV show, but they don't see all the stuff that goes behind what it takes to create that. And many times the image that is sold online isn't the same as what it takes to get there, which is why I like Gary Vaynerchuk a lot, because he really shows the hustle, behind the scenes. I think he was probably one of the first guys to do that. But I would say that conversation with Ty was pretty eye-opening. I used to want to go nomadic. I read the 4-Hour Workweek a few times, really started to build up that idea in my head that I could travel the world, work remotely, have a cool lifestyle business. And, what I've come to find, and this is after years of meeting people that run this kind of lifestyle, is that it can be pretty empty. As much as you see a lot of the Instagram and, it looks beautiful photos, and, maybe them posting checks online or whatever, it's not all that it's hyped up to be outside of the travel. You create a lot of relationships, but they're pretty shallow because, one, you go to a new city, you don't really know anybody. Then you finally meet some people, and either you're on the move or they're on the move. So you really don't develop any routines or connections or even deeper friendships. I'm sure you have amazing life experiences, but if you're somebody like me that, enjoys a couple really solid friends that you can continue to grow with, you can't really ever make old friends. You can only make new friends. And so that's been on my mind a lot. I would hate to be this millionaire, super wealthy, cool guy that actually doesn't have any deep friends. So I've been really focused on nurturing the few communications that I have that are really solid. I've had them for 10 plus years. I want to make sure those never leave. And so no matter where you are in your journey, if I can just impart that one piece of wisdom, don't let Instagram photos get in the way of a very happy and healthy long-term life.
Dude, I freaking love that. And I'm glad we're talking about this before going into your story because, you and I just kind of talked briefly before we jumped on this live and how I did a quick YouTube live earlier this morning, but it was literally on that because back in the fitness days, because I was a sponsored athlete and everybody wanted to be a sponsored athlete and like they pay for your shows, but really you're not like making a really amazing living, but you have this like lifestyle looking like you are. And everyone thinks the guy on the cover of the Men's Health magazine looks that way year round. They don't understand like what it took to get to that or to get sponsored or to win a show. And so I'm really glad you're bringing that up, man, because that's exactly what the live was about. It is making sure they have substance.
Yeah, thank you for being authentic there and sharing that. With mine, I would say if you want to see like what the true day in the life of me and here at Proof, watch my stories more than my feed because I post more lifestyle-y photos on my Instagram feed. And then in my stories, if you watch those every day, it's very much behind the scenes, what's happening, what's going on. I have gotten to travel a lot and that's great. But it's like those photos also come along with like 4 to 5 hours of working remotely every day. And that's always a challenge. And, often when I go out there, it's fun for the fact that like I look forward to it for about 3 months. I'll work really freaking hard for 3 months, and then I'll plan this remote trip where I'll do half days or something while I go travel abroad. But it's not sustainable. You lose a lot of your routines. And so when me and Ty Lopez were talking, I'm sure there's some videos out there if you look it up. We talk about the need for having home bases with intermittent travel in between and not this long-term nomadic lifestyle for years on end where there's no real goal at the end of it except to get experience. If you want to build a long-term, lasting, sustainable business, it comes in really hard work for about 90-day sprints. And at the end of 90 days, reward yourself because that's the only way that you'll be able to make it through the next 90 days. So if you can find 2 to 3 home bases. Maybe you have a house in LA, New York, and Atlanta. You can do triangles, or maybe it's abroad. Maybe you do, a summer place, winter place, and then you have maybe home or family somewhere else as well. So having those few home bases is way better than nomadic traveling.
Dude, that is a really good piece of advice for anybody looking to go out and do that. I love this. This is awesome. All right, so. Okay, we are going to hop into the story, guys, and that's why you're here on the live right now to kind of hear the coming of Proof and how it happened so freaking fast. By the way, like it was like a year, right? Oh, it took a year.
It's been, at this point now. We launched our beta in February, and then by March 1st, I think it was live for anybody to be able to sign up, and that was last year. So we're recording this. I think it's in August now. So yeah, it's been about a year and a half.
Yeah, that's wild. And I saw this correctly. Like you guys have people like Oprah and Alex Becker and Neil Patel all using Proof.
Yeah. Oprah, it's funny. 2 weeks ago, right. Oprah did a collaboration with Deepak Chopra, and we did not know. They just signed up for a trial, put it on their site it was a meditation, like a 21-day meditation event. And literally in the middle of the day, we have like this board that's over here. You can't see it behind my whiteboard. We have this, chart that has all of our metrics for the app, like servers and all of this. And literally all of things go red, like because there's just so many conversions all at once. 80,000 people opted in within 24 hours. And every day since then, I think we're on day 19 or 20 now of that launch. It's still consistently about 15,000 conversions a day. So they're getting crazy amounts of traffic, and we didn't expect it. So we had like all of our servers go down for like a couple hours, and then we had to boot them back up just to be able to sustain all these conversions coming in.
That's freaking nuts, man. That is seriously amazing, dude. Like, okay. So we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit on the Proof side. I was just like mind blown when I saw that stuff. But okay, so let me back it up a little bit because, like I said, I'm like a kid in a candy shop right now because I've been wanting to do this interview with you probably since I started in digital marketing, but it just wasn't the right time. And for both of us, probably, right?
Yeah.
And so back then, guys, you already know my story and how you already know my story. But towards the end of that first 3 months, whenever I had to start over in my agency, at that point, because I had no money now because my previous employer hit me with a cease and desist. So I had now no clients because I had to forfeit those clients. So I had like, I think it was like $57 or something in my bank account. And I'm like, well, I'm either going to spend that on crap, or I came across this ad, which I have bought like 3 or 4 other courses at a mid-price level of $500. And I see this one for $47. And I'm like, all right, well, you know, what do I have to lose? I'm going to spend it on crap, or I'm going to spend it on this $47 course. Let's see what happens. And guys, that $47 course was something Austin and David, right? Rosenboger. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Dave
Rogenmoser. Yeah. So that they came up with, and I'll let you guys know that course created this, like the foundation for my agency moving forward, like the foundation of it. And then it also planted the seed for Agency in a Box, which is a program that I have out. It just planted the seed because you guys teach the foundations of having an agency.
That's really what it takes. You know, our internet marketing world is so caught up in these shiny objects that they forget about the foundations. And I feel like this is not just an agency world, but in all of marketing, whether it's like they're an e-commerce marketer or a SaaS marketer, they look for things they can add on top of their site without thinking about the positioning, without thinking about the true product's function, the benefits, the features. And so really what we talk about in the 6K Success program, which you're referring to, is how do you lay the mindset foundation, the fundamentals of marketing, and then how do you build a sustainable agency from there?
Yeah, man, that was the freaking bomb. And you know what? It's funny looking back now, we talked about this, but it looks like that you guys blew that program up too, just like Prove. You blew that thing up in like 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah, you know, okay, so I'll kind of intro this into my story as well. I was running a digital marketing agency while in college, and I was around $2,000 a month. It was a branding agency. I came to find a few things. Number one, it was project-based. So here's pretty much the timeline that would happen. I would sell clients on a $1,000 to $2,000 website or branding project or videography project. And then I would work on that. And then I would make all that money work. And then I would end up broke again because there was nobody to fill out the pipeline. So there was 2 things wrong with that scenario. One, I was doing all of the work from the selling to the fulfillment to the customer support, all of it. So it wasn't scalable past my own input. You know, there wasn't really a business. It was a glorified job. Secondly, I had this feast and famine because I pretty much have projects that were a lot of money and then nothing, because one, nothing filled it up, but that client wasn't recurring. There was no continuity to the income payments. So what I had to end up changing were 2 things. I had to remove myself from the business. That way I could hire out people to do the sales or do the fulfillment. I ended up doing both. And then secondly, I had to start selling services and not products, because services are recurring. So I could charge a traffic retainer. So every month they'll pay me $1,500 to $2,500 a month to send traffic to their website via Facebook, Google AdWords, etc. And then on the other end, I could also do SEO. How do I increase their rankings on search? And then also a new one, which I'll talk about maybe here towards the end, is conversion. So a lot of people get traffic. They do a lot of the follow-up, but there's a disconnect here between the traffic coming in and then the leads actually converting to sales. How do you get those website visitors to turn into clicks, to contacts, and then into customers? And that's really where the opportunity for conversion is here. And I think a lot of agencies are missing out, and there's a new opportunity for agencies to capture that. So we can talk about that towards the end, but I really think that if you're only doing traffic or only doing sales for those leads, then you're missing a big piece in between. And so when I was doing my agency, I pretty much had this inconsistency of a launch-based business. And so when I bought 6K Success with all my spring break money, my girlfriend at the time was so mad at me, by the way. We were supposed to go to the Bahamas, and I bought this $1,000 course about a month and a half before we were supposed to go. And that was like the last of my money. And so I bought this course, and it was 6K Success by Dave Rogenmoser. So I did not create the course 6K Success, but what ended up happening is it created me. And so within about a month or 2, I became a case study of 6K Success. I ended up going on that vacation to the Bahamas along with a few other trips. And throughout the course of the summer, so that was in February of 2016, throughout the course of the summer, started getting all my clients. And I remember one thing very clearly when my business finally worked. I realized this when I had hired people to do the sales and the fulfillment. And I also was charging a retainer for traffic at the time. And I remember I was on a trip to Italy and I was in the Tuscan hills. I was drinking wine at this vineyard. And I remember I had connected to the Wi-Fi already. We were doing samplings. I had, I think, a cookie with, it was crackers, sausage, and cheese, along with, I was at the Chianti wine vineyard. And I remember getting a Stripe payment for $1,500 on my phone. I looked at this thing and I'm like, holy shit, I don't even know who paid me, how I got paid. Like, I guess a sales guy closed somebody. He gave it to the fulfillment guy, and now they're like on the onboarding. And I had gotten the Stripe payments come through. So it was just honestly such a life-changing moment to realize that I had now accelerated from being pretty much a marketing consultant to actually being an agency. And there's a clear difference here. And that was all because of that program that you had gone through, 6K Success.
Yeah. And man, dude, that is wild. I'm echoing a little bit here. You hearing that? Okay.
No, I don't hear it. I feel like you're pretty good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man. So that is amazing. And guys, that's what it looks like being an agency owner. And just kind of backpedal a little bit. When you also use the word continuity, that's reoccurring revenue, guys. In case you're not as familiar with that term, it's recurring revenue. And I see that more people are hopping on. Hashtag live if you guys are on right now, or hashtag replay if you're going to be hopping on here in a little bit. So you see the questions on there, man. You can address any of those if you want to right now.
Yep, it looks like it's only showing me the most recent, maybe like 4 or 5 at a time. So I'll try and catch them quicker as they come in.
Cool, yeah, because I'm just like listening to the story right now. So I'm like, I need to pay more attention to the comments. So I'll do that. So let's go ahead and start on the transition out to Proof. And again, if you guys are hopping on right now, what is Proof? So Proof is right now the largest used social proof software for websites used by people like Oprah, Neil Patel, Alex Becker. If you guys don't know who any of those people are, I think you should probably get out from under the rock and figure out what's going on in the real world right now.
I think Alex Becker will love that you put him in the same group along with Oprah.
I know you would. Yeah, I'm going to put this on YouTube and I'll just go ahead and tag him on that.
Love it.
Yeah, but so anyway, man, so talk to us about the transition, because owning an agency and doing what you're doing there, like legit owning an agency. And guys, we preach this all the time: outsourcing, contracting, and managing a business, not working in the business so much. What did that transition look like moving to Proof? Like, what were the different obstacles and how did you make that happen so fast?
Yeah. And I want to make sure there's a caveat here. It's like, Proof wasn't only built by me. It's not like I'm like there's 15 people here, we're growing every day. And, so I just lead the marketing team. It's not like I am solely responsible for this company. So it's definitely a team effort. But here, the story of Proof really is simple. It is constantly pivoting and evolving without evolving out our audience. So we evolve the product, we evolve the offering, but it's the people that we help have always stayed consistent. In the beginning, with the marketing agency, we much knew what we were. I'll bring my story in with Dave's. So you guys know that Dave and myself both ran agencies, him about 2 years before me. After he ran his agency, got up to about $30K a month, he created a course called 6K Success. Pretty much you pay $1,000 to learn how to get a bunch of clients. So you get to $6,000 a month in recurring revenue in 60 days or less. I became a case study of that course. And over the course of 8 months, ended up working with Dave on other projects. And he got to this point in his business where, just like how I was experiencing in my agency, this launch-based business, it was branding, it was one-off projects. I had no continuity or recurring revenue. He was experiencing that all over again with courses. It was a one-time payment of $1,000. He was getting tired of doing webinars every week. And there was pretty much no funnel outside of the course. That was the top of the top. So what he wanted to do is deconstruct the course and add in other things. So like behind the scenes, more authentic, real world scenarios. Every week we would do an interview and a behind the scenes of like what it's like building our business. And so that was called the Entrepreneur Alliance. And it was a $30 per month to get courses ongoing content, community, and events for digital marketers, and a lot of them were agencies. And so this was around traffic, conversion, and really just more authentic and transparent entrepreneurship. So that was pretty much where me and Robb met each other. He was, is that the $47 payment you're talking about for the agency course?
Yeah.
So he had gone through that, and you want to share your quick experience of like what that looked like?
Yeah, man, honestly. And right before I share the experience, I want to hop back to when I first enrolled. And I just remember using some of the foundational pieces, because as you guys already know, sales is my background. I'm not unfamiliar with how to close a deal or get the prospect, but the foundation is what made the difference for me. And I remember reaching out to Austin right after I got that. I don't know if you looked at the previous Instagram message I sent you before asking you to come on this live, but it was like, hey, Austin, dude, I've got like $20,000 in my pipeline a month that I'm about to close because of these foundational pieces you gave me from this $47 program a month. And I just remember you saying like, hey man, awesome. You're like supportive. You're like, get it. Like, let's definitely talk more after you get it. And then sure enough, you know, I sent Austin a screenshot of me making, it was like $15,500 a month. And so yeah, the experience of using that program, and I saw someone else put in the comments here, here it is, 6K and EA were packed with value, and 100% they were. And honestly, man, your guys' program helped me realize like the level of quality, if you're going to do something like this, like how much value you need to be able to give away, right? Not just sell, but give away, and help people. So yeah, it was a big eye opener for me.
I think that's a lot of things new marketers forget, is that it's not about your right hook, but more about the jabs, those pitches that you can give away for free. So how are like little nuggets that get them like, you know, on the right road, but you know, it's not quick enough to consume in like an hour or less time period. So it was constantly giving away as much as possible to lead up into the course. And now today, we're actually going to give away the EA and 6K to you all for being live on today's show. So I'm going to give that to everybody here today.
Oh, there you go, guys. See, this is why you need to attend more of my stuff, guys. This is it right here. And if everybody, because I get this question all the time, Austin, like before we really started building things up, and everyone used to ask me all the time, Robb, why are you just giving all this stuff away? I feel like you're just like, how are you going to make a living being an online entrepreneur and an influencer if you're just giving all this stuff away? And actually, that was where I found that foundation, was from you guys. So
awesome. Love that.
Very cool. Okay, so let's get into a lot of the details. So yeah, if you guys missed that, he's going to be giving you guys that program for free. So I'm just, in case you missed it.
I'm going to give you 3 programs. I'm going to give you Entrepreneur Alliance, which is all of my past masterclasses with guys that you might know, such as J.R. Rivas, Arnie Giske, and many of those that have found really specific ways to grow their agencies. And those are very helpful, along with traffic strategies from huge agencies like David Schloss. Runs about $1 million a month. Maybe he's at around 2 at this point, but it's $1 million a month in paid advertising. So if you want to get to a really large agency about that size, we have some trainings about that. I'll also give you 6K Success, which is more of not a masterclass base, but like a follow step 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'll also give you this newest course. It's called Conversion Secrets. And what this is all about how to get your traffic to convert, which is, you know, really good. If you're an agency that's running traffic, your goal is to decrease the cost of that traffic, the cost per acquisition. And so the best way, the most efficient way to do that is through getting those clicks to convert. So how do you make sure that your landing pages, your checkouts, your opt-in forms, whatever they are, has a really high conversion rate? And you'll learn that in this course.
This is awesome, guys. Like, this is the hottest stuff right now on the internet. All right, so let's go into the next key component. So there's so much information that you're already giving us, right? So since we're going to have the steps, right, and the actionable like steps to do this, what are some things that would like make someone fail? They go into this space and they start doing these things, like what would make them not succeed, in your opinion?
Depends if we're looking at the agency as a business or agency as a product. There's two. You have what you do for your clients and then what you do for yourself. And so could you frame the question a little bit more? Like, is this, how could you fail as a marketer, or how could you fail as an agency CEO?
Okay, so I love that you broke it down that way. Let's go ahead and start as an online marketer first, because typically when people go into the business, they're solopreneurs first, and then they might transition.
Yeah. So as a marketer, I think a lot of people miss on the foundations. Look at the copywriting, which is sale through written word. If you haven't gotten that far, how do you position your product? For example, one thing that we are starting to shift, and you'll see this here over the next couple months, is who Proof is targeting, who we're trying to attract as our ideal client. And so it comes from the testimonials that you use. Instead of using Neil Patel, we're going to start using huge companies. Like, for example, one of our companies is Speedo. So how do we attract large e-commerce companies and their testimonials versus solopreneurs that are maybe have an efficient blog, which is great, but we want to attract larger companies. And so that's the positioning. And then how do you use copywriting? Who are you attracting? A lot of people are talking about themselves as the hero. Look, your product is not the hero. It's your customer. Who is the person viewing this? And do they see themselves, or are they seeing you talk about yourself? A lot of times, if you look at the hero's journey, you'll see that they go, I made, $16,000 a month in 30 days or less, and you can do that too. Now, in that scenario, they're talking about how the product that they did got them this far, not about as much as about who they could become. So stop trying to put a Band-Aid and start trying to heal from the inside out, not the outside in. If you look at great marketing, let's look at Nichy. That's a good example. They have renowned marketing. They're one of the top brands in the world. So tell me this, Rob, what does Nichy sell?
They sell the idea of being able to do anything, like to just basically have their product and they can do anything with it.
Yeah, the product is the tool, right? So what they're selling is not shoes. They're selling great athletes. They're selling Messi hitting the winning goal that happens to have a Nike on the shoe, right? So if you look at your product in 6K Success, we talk about, the entire time is that what your life can be and should be as an agency owner and who you need to become. So we talk about a lot about who the client is, who would take our class, not all the modules in our class, not what they're buying. They're buying who they can become at the end. If you go to Proof, you'll see that we're not selling a product. We're selling a great marketer. We're talking to them, and this is simply a tool for them to do better marketing. So whenever you're selling for your clients and for your agency, talk about the kind of business owner that they could be with you as a wingman. You're Robin, they are Batman all the time. You are simply the aid that helps them do better work for themselves and for ultimately their end client if you're B2B.
Man, that is freaking heavy. Did you guys get that? That's huge. And I agree. Like, yeah, man, that is totally overlooked. Everyone's always trying to sell the product or service, and we're always teaching to make sure, to kind of go back on the conversions piece, reverse engineer KPIs, and then also be able to story sell to make sure that we position opportunity. But guys, this example is perfect. Like, I don't think a lot of people look at it that way, how Nichy sells, right? And things like that. That's amazing, dude. So how about this? Again, this is amazing information. So when we go into like your philosophy and the way you approach business, what is something that you believe in that maybe others may not fully agree with, that have a different style than you, but has shown success for you?
So I would say the number one core value, and this has come from the Entrepreneur Alliance, it's come from our other courses, and even now in Proof, it's the core values and the culture and even our audience that remain pretty consistent. The product has evolved, right? We've gone from courses to membership to software. And I would say a lot of people, they will change their core values depending on what they're selling. And that seems so back-assward to me. They're trying to attract the person that they want and saying the words that resonates with the customer. They're not saying the words that always resonates with them. Mm-hmm. And you need to start with what you believe first, and then think about how are you going to make money with what you believe, and finally add the product on to the very end. It doesn't start with the product. It starts with you, your core beliefs, and your customers, not the other way around. And so what we started with is this belief that you don't need to oversell or overpromise to just make the sale. A lot of people, and it's many people that you all worship and you love them. You think they're the coolest people in the world. And this is not to throw anybody under the bus, so you might be thinking of the wrong person, but they are not authentic. They're not sharing what you think is what they're sharing. That you have to look through and read through the lines. And so we came to find this after gaining success in the industry that, and I found this even when I did multi-level marketing years ago. It's like once I became like a top affiliate, I started seeing what my peers were saying, and then I started seeing what they were doing behind the scenes, and they weren't aligned. I see this today even in marketing. They're over-promising, under-delivering on their products. They are pretty much doing dishonest marketing and bad practices. So I would say you don't need to do this, and I am living proof of it. We talk about when times are hard. We have a public dashboard. We, talk, even in the Entrepreneur Alliance, we had behind the scenes of like what's going on in our business, and it created a raving fan group that were all about authenticity. Abby, thank you for gunning us here behind authenticity. Love the good guy approach. Abby's not alone here. The world loves the good idea, the good guy philosophy. You can be that person because if you put your stick in the ground, you'll attract the people that really love you and you'll repel the people that don't. So you'll have a longer lifetime customer by starting with your core beliefs. So if you're here to get a one-off sale, yeah, you can rent a Lamborghini for a day and you might get somebody that's here today and gone tomorrow. But if you want somebody that's here for life and if you subscribe to the philosophy of you only need 1,000 raving fans, then I would say start with your core philosophy, attract those people, and they'll be with you as long as you have that core philosophy. Philosophies don't change all that much. Products and services do, especially flashy, trendy things. So if I could give you guys any advice here, it is be who you are today, not who you want to be. The whole fake it till you make it, it works for short term, but people quickly see right through it. So if you want to really build a raving fan group, talk about how did you get to your first 100 followers, then 1,000, then 10,000, then 100,000, then 1 million. But don't act like you have already $1 million or 1 million followers or 1 million anything unless you already have it. Play in your own lane until you get to that route. I know it's not easy to do because you might feel shame in that like you don't have all the money. You might feel shame that you don't have the cars or the followers or the clothes, but stay in your own lane until you get there and earn it. Earn your way to the top. Don't just fake it till you make it and then let the dice follow through. So I hope this landed in your heart and not just in your mind.
Dude, I freaking love that. And you know what? It's funny. What you just said took me back to a post I read of yours like months ago, actually. And it said, stop trying to find customers for your solutions and start finding solutions for your customers. And I was like, man, that's heavy. That's where it's at. So
a
I
lot
know
of people in the beginning of entrepreneurship, they're looking for what's the thing they can sell on Amazon. They're looking for what's the thing that, what's the course that they can create. And really they need to be thinking about who is the audience they need to serve. If you begin with like, let's say you want to serve vegans, then what are the courses? First, hang out with a bunch of vegans before you start serving them, because you need to find out what are their problems. What are the things that they're coming into every day? And if you're thinking about a product right now, what is something that is highly frequent, that's highly painful? What's the frequent pain? If it's very painful but not very frequent, you don't have a product. If it's very frequent but not very painful, you don't have a product. It's only when it's very frequent and very painful do you actually have something worth selling. So start with the audience, find out what's frequent and painful, and then solve that problem with a course. Eventually, then find a product that you can solve that with. And maybe if you could, build software that automates the painful, frequent activity. So that way, now you have something that's incredibly useful. We found with Proof, obviously, that it's incredibly painful that cost per acquisition is going up. And it's incredibly difficult that to increase your conversions on your website quickly without a lot of time input or effort. And so our product is taking off because it consistently works. That's the frequency. And the pain point is high. And so you can increase your traffic by increasing your conversion rate. And so this is why our product works really well. Think about for you all, what is, whether it's, an online course, an online product, a SaaS, you need to make sure it has that high pain and high frequency. So if you guys have any questions about that, go ahead and write it in the comments below. I'll be glad to answer that.
Yeah, we're actually going to dive into questions here right now. I would love to talk about, as we're transitioning to the questions, you were talking about conversions. At the beginning of the call, do you want to start going over that now? And then we can kind of transition over to questions.
Talk about conversions, how so?
And how you can split your agency up from traffic to also charging for conversions. So traffic and then SEO, and then you can charge separately for conversions.
Yeah, so I'll tell you this. I would charge $1,500 to $2,500 for traffic on a retainer basis. And then I would, on top of that, do conversion for about $2,500. And this is like what Russell Brunson might call his funnels. So I would, for example, one of my clients, they were paying me $5,000 a month to do traffic and conversion. And this looked like literally the deliverables where I would build landing pages, I would write the copy, I would make sure all of the technical things were working. So for example, linking the pixel from the traffic onto the page, writing out copy that attracts that traffic and is very consistent between the messaging on the ad to the messaging on the landing page. Throughout that whole funnel, I make sure that I have call to actions. I have, a value funnel. So after they click here, the next thing they need to see is this, then this, and this. Maybe I have them follow us on social media, add them to a Facebook group. I get them on an email list, have a follow-up sequence there, maybe like a drip funnel for, 5 or 6 email sequences throughout the week that follow up with the leads that they opted in on the page. All of this there to get them to an ad, either on Facebook, YouTube, or something like that then pulls them over to the final call to action. So a lot of value sequence at the beginning, give, and that's what you're selling. Finally, the ask, that's the conversion, the gives. How do you create the ads? Even the ads are follow-up to the give. The landing pages and the email marketing that follows up, that's what you're selling for $2,500 a month. And so in this conversion secrets course, we go over how do you write copy that converts? How do you design landing pages that convert? How do you write email sequences? How do you actually link up all the piping is what we call it across all of your channels? So how do you make sure that your Facebook pixel, your YouTube pixel, all your emails are in line, all of that's connected to your website so that the audiences are correctly managed. So all of this together, you'll now be able to, after you learn this stuff, be able to sell it for about $2,500 a month in addition to your traffic. Or let's say they already have traffic. They rank really highly on Facebook or YouTube or even in Google. All of these things, they already get a lot of traffic. Now you can just sell purely conversion. So maybe you want to go ahead and reach out to influencers on YouTube and Instagram that have a lot of followers. For example, my buddy's doing this for Alexis Wren. She now has a product called Wrenwear. How do you make sure that she gets her followers to buy more of her athletic clothing? So maybe you can find a fitness guru who talks a lot about lifting weights, and now you can help him create his own fitness line or his own ebook or his own supplement company, or maybe even an app where he can get motivational stuff, and now it's a SaaS. So thinking through this, how do you get traffic to convert consistently? And that's what Conversion Secrets will do for you.
That's going to be awesome. If you guys are hopping on right now, because Austin's really breaking down Conversion Secrets. Everyone on this live, he's giving away 3 of the biggest solutions that he has for agency owners away to you guys, and one of them being Conversion Secrets. So yeah, kind of awesome. Okay, man. So let's start asking questions, guys, because we have roughly 15 minutes or so. We've been doing this for 45 minutes. So start asking questions here that Austin could answer for you, because it's not like he hops on in the live group every week.
Yep.
So So go ahead and ask those away. And while they're writing those in there, so Austin, if you could pick a superpower, what would that superpower be and why?
I'd like to read minds. I would really love to be able to read the minds of my customers, read the minds of people, and have the conversations knowing like what are their objections at the right time. And I feel like if you can read minds as a marketer, then that is an incredible and very profitable superhero power. You know, I really wish that I would know each audience and like exactly what I would need to say for each one to get them to convert. Which is that the most marketer super you could ever hear of?
Yeah, I feel like it fits. It fits for sure. We've heard some pretty good superpowers, so that's awesome. And what is this here? Awesome. What was it? So by the way, guys, before we answer these, hashtag live if you are on right now or just hopping on, or hashtag replay, right, to help expand our reach so everyone can see this interview with Austin. So yeah, here's a question for you, Austin. What was the first niche you targeted when you started out?
Well, yes, the riches are in the niches. I did not totally come to find this in full transparency. I tried to target dentists because I knew it. I was pre-dental for 2 years in college. So I understood it. I did internships at Dental Works. And then I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, changed my major to marketing. That's the story's history. But that's why I started out. I knew the audience pretty well. So that's why I started out with that niche. My recommendation is, what is your life experience tells you that you understand somebody really well to be able to solve their pain points. It's not just about finding a profitable niche, but one that you can do really good service for. A lot of times, you'll hear like chiropractors are a really good niche, but do you know what kind of ad campaigns convert really well for chiropractors? Probably not if you don't know what they struggle with every day and who their audience really truly is. Is it people that just get out of a car wreck? Or is it old people that have arthritis? What is the most profitable audience to serve chiropractors best? So that's where the knowledge gap is. Yes, chiropractors are very profitable, but they're only profitable if they stay with you for a long time. Mm-hmm. It's not just who can you sell, it's who can you get to continue buying from you. So that comes down to they buy from you when you deliver great results. How do you deliver great results? You understand the industry. So start with the industry and who do you understand? And then that's now who you can find as your audience and your niche.
I love that. And it's funny because I think you just answered two questions at once, because someone else posted in here, if I started 3 weeks ago, how do I get my first client paying me a few $1,000s? And like Austin just said, guys, like start with what you're familiar with and you'll understand the true consistent pain points behind that niche. And obviously they can afford your services because, each client drives a certain amount of revenue. But I think that answers that question pretty well too.
This seems like a pretty mature audience, and I like that. I have dealt with other audiences that they will say something along the lines of like, can't you just tell me a niche? Can't you just show me the way? Can't you just like give me the answer? And I really push back on this. I'm thinking like, why do you always need the answer? As an entrepreneur, it is your rite of passage to discover your own way. There's not always going to be a set answer because you have to discover what that answer is. It's different for every person. I could tell, one person the niche that might be good for them, and it's totally different. I would never tell that answer for somebody that's in a different, different life path. They know something different. So figure out, how does this work for you? How do you make an agent? And this is also another fulfillment point. Not just what's profitable, not just what is, really good for your client, but what's good for you on a level that's deep and internal. What do you get excited about waking up to every day and serving? So who in the morning do you want to jump out of bed and you're like, I'm going to go and help these chiropractors sell more because I have this belief, this internal desire that chiropractors actually solve problems that I feel emotionally attached to. If you don't feel emotionally attached to your industry, you're not going to do the extra long-term research. You're not going to go the extra mile. You're not going to try and find them or be around them all the time. You're like, oh, I have to go hang out with like orthopedic surgeons later tonight at this networking event. That's so boring. So think like, who is the person you want to surround yourself with every day? Who gets you really excited to do that? And then make sure that you can serve them, and then make sure that's profitable. Profitability is last. The other two, you can figure out how to make that a profitable niche later on, but make sure that you're actually happy serving them, you enjoy being around them, and you can get them great results, whether or not they're actually profitable yet.
Dude, I freaking love that. And it's funny, I was just having this conversation with somebody else a couple days. I actually think it was Abby that posted in the group earlier how success and fulfillment are very, very different.
They are.
Yeah. And as you start to,
Abby.
What's that?
Wise word, Abby.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, man, this group is like all about just wanting to learn and apply. They're not just like, give me the right answers. And that's why we started this group the way it is. And dude, that's such great advice, guys. Like, and what Austin was saying to the very, very beginning of this interview, and if you're just jumping on live now, go rewatch it, because he was talking about this could be a very lonely field to be in as a digital marketer, especially as you scale, because you realize you're going to be creating a lot of short-term relationships if you're not careful, and it's not going to be fulfilling. And success and fulfillment are very different, guys. So that's such a great example of that. Let's see here.
Hey, Preston, I see that you said, I'm implementing strategies that I've learned from both you and my work and my political candidate clients. You have political candidate clients. I'm very curious. How did you come into that niche? Because it's not something I would have ever personally gone into. I'm the least political guy, but I find it very interesting that it's a niche you've chosen. So could you explain in the comments why you chose that niche? Abby says, what's one of the biggest mindset shifts that you've had to go through to be able to level up? I've come into this more recently as we scaled our team from being just me, Chris, Dave, and JP when we were doing the Entrepreneur Alliance. Now we have 15 people, a whole office here in downtown Austin. That is a huge leveling up process. And I would say it is consistently getting outside of your comfort zone. We hear this all the time, that no growth can come out of your comfort zone. If you've ever done any personal development, you've heard it, and this is maybe going through your ears, but I want you to listen to it again, because I only came to find this. I thought I was always pushing my comfort zone. And then I talk with a coach that's more wise than I am. And he goes, Austin, I'm not sure that you are. I see that you're doing a whole lot of stuff, and for most people it'd be very uncomfortable. But I think that you just have a very large comfort zone. And so when is the last time that you got outside of your comfort zone? Because I think that you are just always outside of most people's comfort zone, and that's comfortable for you. And that was awakening for me. I started thinking, like, when's the last time I truly struggled? And like in a way that's like, I'm very comfortable here doing Facebook Lives, very comfortable leading a team, very comfortable doing this stuff. But it was only until I started hanging out with people that I didn't always agree with, or I didn't always understand their experiences. And that was like hanging out with very intelligent engineers and developers and all these people that like started challenging my beliefs and started challenging like how I viewed product, and starting hanging out with not millionaires, but literally billionaires as we were going through Y Combinator, and hanging out with guys like that created Airbnb and Reddit and Stripe and all these other huge companies. That is really where I started to, go back into like not the teaching mode, but learning mode. Just ego is totally to the side, stepping outside of my comfort zone. And the fact that like I have no idea what I would even input into this conversation. Totally just like put my ego to the side, had no value add to give, because these guys are way bigger, way wealthier, way more life experience than me. And so that is when I started getting outside my comfort zone. It's when I started hanging out with marketers that just agree or would always be yes people to me because of what we built, but more around with like, wow, you're only making X amount of millions. Cool. Well, let me know when you get to 100 million, or, are you even thinking at $1 billion? The very first time that we tried to get into Y Combinator, we actually got denied. Funny enough, the guy who created Gmail, who's worth $600 million, said, you're not thinking big enough. And by the way, we were already at this point making about $50,000 a month in recurring revenue. We were very profitable and had a raving fan audience. So we're like, this mousetrap is working. And he goes, cool. How does this become $1 billion company? and we didn't have the answer to that. And so that was very uncomfortable, as you can probably imagine. And it was defeating, but it didn't defeat us. We came back 6 months later, and we had shifted the vision for where Proof is going beyond just a widget, is what some people will call us online, to being a full conversion platform. And eventually, as we now just hired a couple very intelligent machine learning engineers, a platform that understands conversion and will adapt. So that's what we're growing into. That's a teaser for the next year ahead. But long story short, all of this comes down to getting outside of a comfort zone. So if you think that you're constantly getting outside your comfort zone, ask yourself the question, do you just have a very large comfort zone and you're actually staying within it? Or are you doing things that you legit feel uncomfortable with every day?
Oh, man, dude, that's why we do these interviews, guys. That is why we do these. Dude, again, super humbled that you jumped on this, and this is crazy insightful. Guys, do you have any more questions for Austin while we're on here? We got a couple more minutes, and I think that now is your chance and your opportunity to ask these questions from somebody that has gotten to that next levels.
Abby, we have on our wall, we have literally a huge mural. I'm not sure if you guys can see that with the glare. Let me show you. So attached. So if you guys can maybe see over there in the mural, we literally have something that says, build something people want. It is that mural there. It looks like the white light's hitting it so you guys can't see it.
Yeah.
But literally, that is the root of great entrepreneurship, building something people want. Ask yourself, are you building things people want or things people buy? Because a lot of times that's different. And just because you can sell it doesn't mean people actually want what you're buying. And so if you're over-promising and under-delivering, that means that you sold something people don't want. Just keep that top of head all the time.
That's sexy. I love that. Guys, there's freaking knowledge bombs being dropped everywhere. I feel like I don't even know what to do right now. This is great. So awesome, guys. Well, let's see. We got anything else, guys? Because I know Austin's got a ton to do too. And dude, this is awesome. I appreciate you again jumping on. Yeah, dude, this is great. And we got anything else, guys, before we jump off here?
Yeah. If you guys want to follow up with this, I am best found on Instagram. I think it's probably my favorite social media right now. Just look at my name, Austin Distel. And then for all of you agency owners, an opportunity for you all as well here with Proof, and this is going to be my right pitch, my right hook, is sign up your clients for Proof. It's going to increase their conversion rates, and it's going to decrease your cost per acquisition, making you look better. So I want to give you all of these free things, conversion secrets, 6K success, the Entrepreneur Alliance, all of these things. And all I ask is that you just refer us when the time is right. When you have a client that gets good traffic, so not low traffic, they already get high traffic. So make sure I want to weed out the people that won't get value out of us. Just because they can buy it doesn't mean I actually want them as a customer. So make sure that they get value out of Proof. They get at least 2,000 visitors a month. And that would be a perfect client for us here at Proof. And you will get 30% recurring commission for every time they get their subscription renewed. So that might be a little side income stream for you as well.
So how can they get that link specifically, Austin? So let's just kind of backpedal real quick. So where can everybody find you on the platforms you want them to find you?
I'll put it here, Instagram.com/Austin Distel.
Awesome.
Distel.co is my blog. I barely ever update it though. So it's cool. I got some cool stuff on there. If you guys are marketers that are single, you'll probably like my last blog post on how marketing and dating are the same thing and how you can become a better product. And then let's see. You can start a free trial at useproof.com.
Awesome.
And then if you guys want to become an affiliate, which is where you're able to share Proof, this is a secret link. I only have it through conversations like this, so you can't literally find it anywhere else.
Awesome.
Useproof.leaddino.com. And so that's where you can become an affiliate. If you refer proof, you get 30% recurring commission. All the instructions are there. So yeah, with that, guys, thanks so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, share, comment, tag friends below that need to see this. Whether or not they are an agency owner or a digital marketer, you and I both know we didn't really talk about that. We've talked about entrepreneurship and how to become a great entrepreneur. So hope you enjoyed this, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Austin. Appreciate it. And guys, make sure you tag your friends at the bottom. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yeah, definitely. Talk soon.